Coming up next, we have Michael Villager. And he has a job at Dynatrace. Hopefully this one is on
There
too.
we go. And it is. All right. So I have to hit the space bar. All right. So I'm Mike Villager. Obviously, it's up there on the slide. You know, one of the things that I'm doing at Dynatrace is I'm helping to kind of maintain our relationship with Pivotal, both from a technical and a business perspective. And I'm here to talk to you over the next couple of minutes about actually implementing our, AI inside of PCF. So I got a couple of flashy slides here that are going to come through. Normally, I would kind of blip through these. So traditional monitoring is dead, right? So I like to drop a little something a little flashy here in the beginning. Now, why is traditional monitoring dead? Well, one of the things that we found when we were working with our analyst partners was that the typical organization monitors no more than 5% of their applications, right? So what happens when something is lurking in the shadows, right? What happens when your architecture looks like this? It's kind of a spiral galaxy, and that's a real screenshot from a real customer environment that we've actually run into, right? So these environments get very large with thousands of services, right? And your monitoring teams can't keep up if they have to actually implement the monitoring solution for each and every one of those services and possibly make manual configurations. So with that, we started to invest some engineering resources in coming up with a better way. And we've done that by taking advantage of the tooling that PaaS platforms like Cloud Foundry have given us, and we've created a BOSH add-on, all right? And as things go through here, we're going to start to see a neat little animation here. So what we're doing is utilizing the add-on, we're deploying our solution onto each and every one of the virtual machines, right? So this is going to be a nice little mix of a little bit of marketing spiel here in the beginning, then we're going to get to some nitty-gritty here. So we're embracing the platform tooling to actually deploy the add-on. This is a nice little snippet of the commands updated for BOSH 2 syntax. Cool new kind of feature of the Cloud Foundry platform that's been floating around. So when we actually issue that, the deployment, it's actually going to take a couple minutes to run. So what's a few things we can do while BOSH is deploying? Well, you could read a couple of blogs. There's nothing there that's really, out of the ordinary. The other thing you can do is you can start taking a look at creating some dashboards, right? So these are some dashboards from Dynatrace of some of the data coming through and things like that. But as we'll start to see through some of the next couple of slides, actually off on my timing just a little bit, dashboarding is something that kind of came out of the 70s. And the reality of the situation is in the coming years, we really want to move people away from dashboarding. Yes, that functionality is there, but we don't want to do it anymore, right? So we want to actually talk about automated root cause analysis. So here's an example of a performance problem that we encountered in one of our PCF environments. You can see that we're looking at what's infected, what's the impact, and what was the root cause, right? So these features are very clearly called out. Now, when we look at something that happened in our environment, we noticed that our cloud controller had an issue with CPU utilization, right? So our CPU was pegged, right? So what might have the root cause been? So as we start to actually dig into the problem, as we take a look at the next thing, right, we start to see that there was a Ruby process on the cloud controller, the actual cloud controller itself, that was consuming a lot of CPU cycles. And then as we started to kind of look through some other things that were happening there, we started looking at the logs from that particular process, and we saw that our SQL server had gone away, right? So cloud controller is talking to MySQL, storing some data there, and things were actually starting to go away. So, but it's not only about seeing a problem that's actually happening. Since we're looking at everything all the time, we can also prove negatives. And this is where things start to get really interesting, right? So one of the things that I've been seeing a lot of recently is slow disk problems, right? If your disk is slow or your Diego CPU is very high, when you're doing something like deploying a new release, does it really matter? I have a phrase that I like to drop on people, and it's if a tree falls in the forest and it doesn't hit a user, does anybody care? Right? So here I dropped a nice little meme picture on everybody. Right? So my kind of take on this is if you have infrastructure problems that aren't impacting the end user, maybe we shouldn't worry about it. Right? this is, it's just not something that we really need to be concerned with. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can get access to this. You can take a look at our trial. You can enter the code Pivotal 2017 to get some extended credits. Come talk to us at our booth. And really, the last slide here is just kind of a closer. But I welcome any questions about this over the course of the next couple of days. So thank you so much.